My dad's been snooping through my mail for years, even stealing cash and opening private work letters. I finally had enough and pulled the reverse card. I don't want to say what I do for work, but let's just say it's the type of job that includes a lot of written letters from clients that are supposed to be confidential and only for my eyes. The issue started with my father. Since high school, when I received mail, my dad would open it. Whenever I received Christmas birthday cards in the mail with money in them, my dad would hand me the card and insist he'll keep the money safe for me until I demanded he hand it over. He would open and give any package I would order for myself, and sometimes the products were also used by him. The final straw was when he received my acceptance letter to my dream college, and instead of waiting for me to come home to open it, he opened it himself and called me while I was at work to congratulate me. I've spoken to my mother about how much this makes me feel uncomfortable, and she told me she'd talk to my father about it, to which he would apologize and not do it for a week before doing it again the following week. I had also spoken to my dad about the confidentiality of the mail I would be receiving now that I'm working, and he says he understands, but it all came crashing down a few weeks ago. While working, my dad came into my room and handed me open envelopes from my clients and even tried to talk about it with me, but I just ignored him until he got the hint and left. After work, I yelled at him for violating client confidentiality, to which he got defensive and said that I live in his house, and he would read any mail sent to his house. Furious, I thought I would take revenge on my father by going to the mailbox and reading his mail. I had found credit card statements on jewelry and restaurants that were too fancy for my dad to go to alone, and I don't remember the last time my dad took my mom on a date or bought her any jewelry. I also found a letter addressed to my dad from a woman who stated how tired she was for hiding this relationship for so long, and how she is so desperate for his letters to reach her. When my dad noticed the mailbox was empty, my dad ran back in the house as white as a ghost. He walked into the kitchen to see me and my mom in the kitchen reading his mail. Before the fighting could start, my mom asked me to leave the house. So I drove to my aunt's, who lives 45 minutes away, and explained everything. I came back after 2 days when my dad's stuff was gone. My mom told me she will be in contact with a divorce attorney. Turns out my dad has been having an affair with a family friend, and was hiding it through letters to leave no digital footprint. First update, I've been doing my best to comfort my mother while she deals with all the legal business and my dad's constant appeals to my mom to apologize and begged for forgiveness. The mistress was also a married woman. My mom reached out to her husband, sending him the letters she had taken photos of, and even had a long phone call with him about what was happening. He initiated the divorce, and the mistress is now angry at my father for not being more careful. I hear the mistress is still reaching out to forgive him, which I honestly think is very funny since my dad is doing the same thing. She was financially dependent on Henry, and my dad isn't making enough at his job to support the lifestyle she wants. Yesterday, Henry asked my mom to come out to lunch with him. I encouraged my mom to do such and to call me if my dad or the mistress decides to show face when they go so I could pick her up. My dad called me and left me voicemails telling me that this whole situation was my fault, then gone and cried, saying he regrets everything and hopes he can still be my dad. I honestly don't know what to do with him right now other than ignore him. Second update. A few months after the post, my mom discussed her interest in possibly going on a date with Henry. Obviously, we were thrilled. They've been dating for almost a year now, and I'm happy for them. Henry treats my mother with way more respect than my father ever did for her. She glows with joy whenever he's around. As for our father, Jerry, and his mistress, Martha, they married immediately after my mother. I'll call her Reagan, and Henry. I didn't speak to Jerry other than his occasional text asking about how I was doing or asking me for some cash. After they got married, neither of their families supported the marriage, and they became black sheep respectively. They tried to sue for cash, but the case fell in my mother's and Henry's favor. I stopped talking to him fully when he spent a month harassing my sister for cash, calling her repeatedly, texting her, and showing up at her college, to the point where the dean had to get him escorted off the campus. That's when mom got us a harassment protection order. Turns out the reason my dad was hounding for cash was because he got Martha pregnant. She wants expensive everything, and Jerry is pulling everything out of his butt to satisfy her. Martha ended up being the one harassing my sister until she ended up at our door demanding to speak to Henry about how he left a poor pregnant lady with nothing. Henry is a man who takes no bullshit. He opened the door, looked Martha dead in the eyes, and told her, "Was it not cruel to cheat on your husband when he provided you with a mansion, designer bags, nice cars, trips, and all the love in the world? You have no right to call me cruel after everything you've used me for, and you're lucky I didn't demand any money back." He shut the door, and Martha ended up throwing a huge fit, even faked her water breaking with a water bottle. Police escorted her to the hospital, and luckily, we were able to show them everything through our Ring doorbell.